This week, I've got my final assessment to become a semi-pro referee. We make an incorrect decision in the first 5 seconds, have a big penalty decision to make, then I have to make a potential red card decision, and players start getting on my back. Can I bring this game back under control and show the observer what I'm made of? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from, and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Whistle. My name's Eric, I'm a level 5 referee here in England, and I take you in the day in the life of what it's like to be a referee. I review my matches, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we try and see where we can improve. So, I don't know if you guys remember last time I refereed Sharpness. It was Sharpness versus Frampton. The kickoff, they drove forward straight from kickoff, so I was anticipating that this time. The annoying thing is I give a foul, literally, this is 4 or 5 seconds in, that's just not right. From where I was stood, the lad lifted his hand up here. You'll see that this lad lifts his hand up and places it on the forward's back, and he goes down to the ground. However, if you watch it back, you'll see that he actually just slips. So it's a really soft foul to give. I say soft foul, an incorrect foul. It just doesn't set a good tone for the game. I always want to try and get that first decision right so that it builds trust and rapport with the players. And unfortunately, I've not done it on this occasion. With that being an observation, I was trying to make sure it didn't play on my mind. Okay, so we're going to have to get the coaches board out here. Now that football is played out from the back, a lot more, even at the lower levels, I'm really struggling to figure out where to stand. Really struggling. This is an example where I was struggling. So this is where the assistant referee would be, typically. Okay, and they're going to be staying in line with that second to last defender. And so from here, where would you stand as a referee? Because to me, it's really not immediately obvious. Now, we can make a good judgment that the ball's going to get played to one of these players, right? Okay, and then things are going to start shifting. The most likely thing to happen is that player comes in, okay, and that player will either screen and they'll play the ball into this gap, or that player will stay and this player here will be right up the backside of that number 10, that forward, whoever's dropping in to receive the ball. It makes it a really difficult place to stand though, because you still have all these players up here and the ball may go long. Problem is, if we position ourselves in the middle here, we block off this potential passing lane. However, it is a good place to be. So maybe we're supposed to be more in this area. And then if it gets played short, we can kind of sweep round. But yeah, to be honest, I'm really unsure. If there are any good level officials that are getting coaching on this, please comment. Even if you do it anonymously, please just let me know where I'm supposed to be. Because you can see as this ball gets played, I'm stood more in the middle, and yeah, I'm just not really sure quite where to be. I feel like I'm okay where I am, but it doesn't feel the best. So yeah, someone please let me know. So for those of you that are maybe new officials or officials that are in the lower levels, this is a tip that can help, and it really helps me, and it's something I remind myself all the time, and that's to look at players and not look at the ball. The ball cannot make an offence, so there's no need to look at it. This is a prime example, right? So the goalkeeper releases the ball, we get a small look at the ball to see the flight, and then we're looking down at that potential drop zone. Now, I appreciate that not everybody is going to be able to judge the flight of the ball as quickly as others. This is just from years and years of playing football. You kind of just get used to understanding where that ball's going to drop. And as you're looking at players, you're going to be able to see that as well. So as that ball comes, I'm immediately looking at the players. Now, you won't be able to see them because they're off screen, but my eyes are directly into them. Okay, I'm going to be looking at exactly what's happening here. I recognize that they're going to both be going up for a header. And so when this happens, you're typically going to get a lot of contact here. Right, so they're going to be backing into them, they're going to be pushing into them, you're going to get pushes, pulls, you're going to get all sorts in here. So from where I am, I don't want to be looking at them from the front, okay? I don't want to be looking at it from this angle here because I'm not going to be able to see anything. So what we want to try and do is get wider into this area, and then I would have an angle on what's happening. So you want to kind of try and get as wide as you can with these what we call 9-to-5 challenges, the number 9 and the number 5, which is striker and centre back. And that way you'll have a better angle on what's going on. So rather than me trying to get close to play, I break out wide so that I can get a side-on view of what's about to happen. And then, yeah, all is well. Now, would I want to move left so I've got the assistant between me and the ball? Yes. However, the way the sun was beaming in, you can see that it's coming in from that far corner. Being on the left-hand side of the pitch, going in this direction wasn't ideal because the sun was beaming right into my eyes. So by coming right a little bit, I had a better angle. And with neutral assistance, it doesn't really make much difference. So here my position is not that great. Now, you'll struggle to see the lines on the pitch. Again, apologies, it's just the way the lighting is with the camera. But here, I'm a little bit too central. I'd like to be wider, especially with neutral assistance. So the edge of the box is about here. If I was to run a parallel line, that's where the edge of the box would be. And so I'm really quite a way away from the edge of that box. Now, with the way I'm looking at play, it's going to be really difficult for me to know if a foul occurs based on where I'm stood. So I want to get wider and round further, especially with neutral assistance. So obviously they're not going to be making any decisions on fouls, etc. And here's basically the same example, but the opposite side of the pitch. So you'll see where play is. And I'm just kind of stood in the middle, and I don't really get wide. Okay, so again, at this point in a situation like this, there are really only two options, right? He's either going to play the ball out wide or he's going to play the ball into here. If he does, I'm not going to have an angle on what's happening here, and I'm certainly not going to have a good angle on what happens in here. So I should be breaking round all the way around to here, and that way, again, I can have an angle on both potential outcomes. We then get this handball by the forward. You're not the tallest guy on the pitch, and it takes a dodgy jump. Now, the handball is obviously handball, it's deliberate handball. However, I think I can manage this better here by having a word with him, especially as he walks off with the ball. And as soon as I tell him to leave it, he leaves it. However, I think I should have a word with him here and start getting into the habit of using that stepped approach. Deliberate handball. He's then dribbled the ball away a couple of yards. This would have been a good time to just pull him in and have a quick chat so that everybody knows that, you know, I've given him a verbal warning about it. Now, I do have a quiet word with him off the ball, but I don't do it publicly. But thankfully, it has an effect because we give our second foul of the game. I don't know how far into the game we are. It must be like 20 minutes, 21 minutes, and this is only the second foul of the game. For me, this is a foul because he's not played the ball. He's just given him a push off the ball. He picks up the ball, and then I turn to put that ball down. It goes down straight away. No delay in the restart. We've managed to deal with that situation. Okay, we've not allowed him to delay the restart here, and so it seems to have worked. We then get this holding offence against the blue number 9. You'll see they're both challenging for the ball, and then I can see the red player's shirt being pulled up. Now, in this time of the game, there's not been a lot of fouls, but there's been things that maybe have been let go, you want to call it. But for me, there's literally nothing worth showing as there's no potential fouls or anything like that. Now, the problem is the blue captain was starting to whinge quite a bit. And yeah, it was starting to get on my nerves a little bit. Okay, so I give this foul here. For me, obviously, it's a clear foul, right? The lad takes a touch away from the number 10. The number 10 makes no contact with the ball and then clatters into the lad whilst jumping off the floor. I wait just a second to see if that red player can play out wide, to see if they can go forward. They can't, and so I pull it back. And then we get the complaining from the blue captain. No way we've won the ball. Obviously, they didn't. I'm right there, and I'd say this. What I was trying to explain is I'm right here, like I've got it, and you've got to stop whinging. Now, how would I deal with this differently next time? I would say nothing. I think ask him if he's finished with his outburst and then let him know calmly. You may not think I've got it right, but I have. If I get another outburst like that from you again, I'll have no choice but to put you in the sin bin. By being combative back with him, I'm not sure that's the best way to approach it, but it's a big game for me. and I could feel my emotions were slightly heightened. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. How would you deal with that situation there? Would you do what I did, or would you deal with it differently? And if so, how? How would you have dealt with this differently? Please let me know. So let's watch it again. What do you guys think? What was your gut? For me, this is never a penalty. He's out stretching for the ball, off balance. The contact is shoulder to shoulder. It's not a penalty for me. Now, the problem is I'm not in the best position to make this decision. And again, it comes from the goal kick that we were talking about. So I've started central. I've come in central. Then there's a turnover of possession, and I'm out of position. Ideally, I would want to be out here now so that I would have a clear angle on any contact that's going to happen in this area of the box, which is exactly what happens. So by the time that tackle comes in, I am here. I do not have the best angle. Truthfully, if I was further over here or wider, I'd have a clear view behind them and I'd be able to see where the contact was. But from my angle and where I was, it really did look like shoulder to shoulder and that they're stretching. And so we wave it away. But let me know what you guys think. Pen or no pen? We then give this foul here. I just explained to him, you've caught him, you've caught him. And then we give that against the forward on the goalkeeper. The captain then complains to me again about the penalty. So as I'm walking in to deal with the goalkeeper just to check that he's all right, the captain's going on at me about the penalty, and I'm explaining to him it's not a pen, contact shoulder to shoulder. Then I just explained to the lad in red, hey mate, be careful, it's a little bit late. I know you've not meant much in it, but just be sensible. The reason I gave the free kick rather than just let play on with the goalkeeper is because, as you'll see, a few fouls in quick succession have now started to come in. And so I wanted to make a conscious effort to slow the game down. Rather than the keeper getting kicked and then just playing out from his hands, I wanted to slow that game down, give it a bit of room to breathe. So hopefully we can settle it down again. So I give this foul here. Is it the right decision? I don't know. It's hard. That's fine. That's also not a foul. But then for me, the player in red, he's got a right to try and get up. For me, he's not trying to cover over the ball, right? He's not trying to obstruct the ball. He's trying just to get up. And then for me, the blue player then fouls him again on his back. You'll hear people saying he's trying to block the ball. For me, he's not. He's got a right to get up. And at this point, I just tell the captain to go away. He's been at me 3 times whinging. I told him to stop. And so now, I just tell him to move away. The goalkeeper's down. So we pull on for treatment. At this point, I just wanted a minute, deal with the injury, take a bloody deep breath and think about how I'm going to explain it. So I explained it to him, look, the first one's not a foul, and then he's trying to get up, he's not obstructing the ball, and then you foul him. He then begs me not to book him. No, I'm joking. He obviously is impersonating what the guy is doing on the floor, and I explained to him, mate, he's got a right to get up. I don't think he's obstructing the ball. We then get 7 minutes without a foul until this one. I can, honestly, watching this back, I can really understand why the blue team feels so hard done by in this first half. But again, this is clear, right? He's knocked the ball over, and then he's on the back of the player in red who's turning around. He's not deliberately blocking off his path. And so that's a foul that way for me. I can see why people would see it a different way and why they would feel hard done by, because it's almost like every single foul has gone against them in this first half. But yeah, that's just how it goes sometimes. And on that one, I'll be honest, I had no idea. I had no idea what it was, so I just went for a goal kick. And right before half time, we just get this foul here. Again, he's just pushed him in the back, so it's a simple one to give. The captain then comes in, is asking about that player delaying the restart. You'll see that he's picking the ball up and not giving it back, and I'm explaining the half was over as soon as that free kick was taken. So he's not delaying the restart because there's basically no restart to be had. Okay, it's going to be half time as soon as you bring the ball in play, so it has no impact. So at half time, there's a bit of feedback that came to me, and that was one, you're doing well. Keep it going. You're making good decisions for the most part, so carry on. Keep it going. The second is too central. Okay, you need to get wider, and we've highlighted that in this first half, right? So basically, stay calm, keep doing what you're doing, and get wider. That's it. So that's what we're going to try and do second half. Let's see. But before it does kick off, as I'm coming out with the ball, I take the opportunity to go and chat to the blue captain. Now, this is football. Emotions get high, okay? Both referees, both players. So I took the time before kickoff to go and chat to the blue captain. I took him aside quickly and I said, look, first half, a little bit aggro with each other, okay? I want to work with you, you want to work with me, we both want to enjoy the game of football, okay? And he said, yeah, you know what, ref, I shouldn't speak to you like that because it then means that my team think that they can speak to you like that as well. And I said, look, yeah, I appreciate it, okay? So let's talk like this, keep it as we are, and we'll have a much better second half, yeah? And he says, yeah, and then we're good. And this is one thing that I see as a positive with me is I try and have humility on the pitch. As much as I believe I'm right all the time, I will say to players, look, mate, I may have made a mistake. I may have got things wrong. We're both going to make errors, but just like you, I'm going to give my absolute best. And I want players to trust me when I'm there that I'm going to do, the best job. If someone is genuinely nasty, etc., then yeah, I don't want to work with them. But, if a captain is just passionate and they want to play, then I'll always try and work with them. So this chat was to kind of reset what had happened in the first half, and we can approach the second half with a kind of fresh perspective. So just a minute into that second half, we have a decision to make here. You'll hear people say that's a knee breaker. So I played advantage, nothing has come of it. Played on for about a minute and I brought it back for the yellow card. The reason I've given a yellow card is because it's reckless play. So although I played an advantage, it's irrelevant, and that's only applicable for spar. So if there's spar and you play advantage, obviously the promising attack is still carried on, so there's no yellow card for it. But seeing as this was reckless play, I bring it back for the yellow card. Now, why was it a yellow card for reckless play? As that ball comes in, he approaches and makes a tackle. It's really not a good one either. So as he comes in, you'll see that where he makes contact is really high up on the leg. It's actually above the knee, but he makes it with kind of his thigh, and thankfully there's not a ton of force. The number 9 is able to stay on his feet. I was going to blow. You'll see me here. I bring the whistle up to my mouth, but I end up shouting advantage and playing advantage. He then drives into the box and the red player makes a good recovery tackle. Now, I only saw this clearly because I got wider. Okay, I don't know if you guys remember in the first half where I probably would have stayed about where I am here. Now, because I've come wider and round, and I'm pretty much in line with the edge of that box, we have a good angle on what's happening and we can let play carry on. If I'd have been more central, I may not have had a good angle on that tackle. Similar thing here, trying to get wider during this second half and being more proactive in my positioning. We can see here where that potential pass could be, right? So where's the danger? Where's the danger going to be? It's going to be a slide pass through here for the 7 to run onto, or he's just going to play it directly into here for him to run onto. So we're on the front foot trying to get forward. However, the player in red makes a great interception. But again, better being proactive and being on top of play where possible. Now again, in that same phase of play, obviously if that player starts driving into here, there's going to be a potential foul. There's going to be a potential penalty decision to make. And so we want to try and drive into these areas so we've got a better angle, which is exactly what we do, which is good to see. We then have this Dogso decision to make. It's not really a Dogso decision in my eyes. As you can see, the lad wins the ball. However, again, it shows the difficulty of positioning as a referee. So, player in red's got the ball. As he receives the ball, there's a few things that he's likely going to do, right? He's going to slide it in here. He's going to play it out to his fullback here, which is what I saw. Or he's going to play a pass that I didn't see. I thought he was going to play the pass out to his fullback, personally. And so, I didn't really want to be up in this area because I'd be blocking off the passing lane. However, he plays a brilliant pass, takes a tumble, but there's no real appeal, and so we wave it away. But again, was I in the best position to judge it? No, I've been caught on the break and I've decided to hang back when I should have gone sprinting forward. Help him, Roy! Help him! Obviously in that first half, we had a situation where we kind of had a bit of an outburst at the player. We didn't really use a stepped approach, and so we use it here. We get some issues between these players after an absolute nothing situation, and so we bring the player in that's pushed him. Got a decision there, ref. Raising your arms like that, you can't do it. You're right, you can't do it, but it's not absolutely not worthy of a red card or even a yellow card in my opinion. All three players were at it. However, I had the quiet word with those two, and then he's come in late with the push, and so I'm having a word basically saying, look, there's just no need for it. Like, let's not get into the silly stuff like that. Let's just focus on football. And then we give this foul against the red 7. So he goes down, but for me, that is a slip. And then he pulls on the shirt of that blue player and fouls him. But that is what I give. Clear handball, isn't it? It's a really clear handball from the camera. His arm is well away from his body and it hits it. I say it's clear handball, but I do want to understand the law here, because obviously we say if a player plays it off their own body first, it can't be handballed, and I did think it brushed his leg. But for me, in the spirit of the game, this feels like it's just handball, regardless of whether it hits his leg or not, because his arm's in an unnatural position and he's deliberately put it out there to stop it if it doesn't hit his leg. And I don't think it's a substantial enough touch off his leg to make it not handball, if that makes sense. But I don't know. The reason I miss it is because of my angle. I'm looking at it very side on. I saw him raise his leg. I saw the ball stop. I didn't even see his arm raised from my angle, which is just behind this player here. We then give our second yellow card of the game for this. The number 7 had already had a couple fouls in the game. He had the handball, had the foul. He'd already gone at me a couple of times. But then this is just a deliberate pullback, completely cynical. And so for me, this is a simple yellow card to give. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is full time. I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode. We got through the game in the end. My observation mark will be with you shortly. If you want to watch that, you can click here. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.